The airport lights were harsh, almost cruel, as Maria stood by the glass window waiting for her boarding call. Behind her, her mother tried to hide her tears, and her younger brother clung to her arm. Everyone kept saying, "For a better future." But as she held her small suitcase, Maria felt the weight of an entire lifetime on her shoulders. At 27, she was leaving her quiet town in Batangas to work in the Middle East as a domestic helper. She told herself it would only be 2 years, but she feared the loneliness, the distance, and the thousand small sacrifices no one ever spoke about. The moment she arrived, the heat struck her, dry, suffocating. The city glittered with wealth, but the home she stepped into was a world where time was no longer hers. Every day was a list of commands. Clean this, do that, hurry. She moved silently through the house, a presence but barely a person. At night, she would sit by the tiny window in the maid's room, staring at the unfamiliar sky, whispering, "Kaya ko to, para sa pamilya." But loneliness crept in like an enemy, and the pillow became her only witness to her tears. One particularly hard evening, after hours of scrubbing and ironing, her employer scolded her for something she didn't do. The humiliation stung so deeply she felt herself break. She called home. Her mother's voice trembled with warmth as she said, "Anak, pagod ka na. Pero tandaan mo, hindi ka nag-iisa. Lahat ng sakripisyo mo may patutunguhan." Those words wrapped around her like a hug from miles away. She remembered her purpose, her father's medicine, her brother's schooling, the hope of a small home someday. She wiped her tears and whispered to herself, "Hindi ako susuko." Slowly, the tides began to change. Weeks turned to months, and she learned the language little by little. She found her voice, quiet but steady, as she learned to negotiate her hours and responsibilities. Her employers, seeing her sincerity, softened over time. Small kindnesses appeared, a cup of tea, a longer break, a simple thank you. And on her lone day off each week, she met other Filipinas, women who carried the same weight, the same dreams. Together they became each other's family abroad, sharing laughter loud enough to feel like home and sorrow deep enough to feel like healing. One day her brother called her with a glowing smile. "Ate, pasok na ako sa college dahil sa'yo." At that moment, every sleepless night, every pain she endured, every tear she hid felt worth it. Her sacrifices were not fading into nothingness. They were building something. Years passed. 2 became 4. When Maria finally returned home, she did not come back rich, but she came back whole. At the airport, this time returning, not leaving, her family ran into her arms. Her brother, now taller, carried her luggage with pride. As they approached their neighborhood, Maria's breath caught in her throat. A small but sturdy house stood waiting for them, painted in her mother's favorite shade of blue. "This is your victory," her mother whispered. Maria wiped her tears and shook her head softly. "Ating victory." From then on, she became a quiet symbol of courage in her community, not because she left the country, but because she never stopped loving it. She shared her stories with young dreamers, reminding them, "Your worth isn't in the money you send home. It's in your strength, your sacrifice, and the love that survives even oceans." Maria had left as a girl filled with fear. She returned as a woman carrying hope. And in her hands, steady, scarred, and strong, she held the truth that even the farthest journeys can still lead back to the warmest home.